I'm Connor Northrup. I'm now joined by featherweight prospect Tom Pagliarulo, who's fresh off a second-round TKO victory in his pro debut, nonetheless, over Sean Stefanelli at CFFC 92. It was on March 11th. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, like I already mentioned at the top, pro debut win. I'm sure your professional debut, that's something you thought about for a very long time. So now that, I guess a week removed now, a little over a week, right? I guess, say.
I'm
Uh,
coming up
you know, what did you say?
coming up on 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, how's it feel now? Like, has it settled in? Like, what is kind of the feeling?
Yeah, man. Like I said earlier, it's kind of just it's on to the next one at this point. I like I said, I have a hard time enjoying things, and I'm eager to get back in there, get back in the gym. Um, but I enjoyed it for a day, and yeah, it feels good to get it in. With COVID going on and everything, some days it felt like this day was never coming. You know what I mean? But I stayed in the gym. I kept working hard, and then I got that call. It was actually 4 days notice. And I was ready to go, man. I didn't bat an eye. My manager told me check my weight, check my weight. I was like, I'm good, man. Let's just do it. It was now or never for me. I just wanted to get in there and go make a statement.
Yeah. Like, if that fight, like, never, if that opportunity never came up, like, when were you kind of eyeing, like, to make that pro debut?
Man, I kind of stopped putting a timeline on it. You know, at first it was like the beginning of this COVID thing. It was, oh well, over the summer I'll definitely make it, and then it kept getting worse. I was like, maybe fall for sure. November, I was like positive I was gonna get in there, and that didn't happen. I was, you know what, man, like I train every day regardless. You know, I don't train based on a bout agreement. This is a full-time job for me, so I was like, I just gotta put my head down, keep working, surrounded by the right people, and when the time comes, it'll come. And my job is just to make sure I'm ready for that call, and I was.
Yeah, so as soon as you stopped worrying about it, then then it came.
Yeah, then it comes.
That's great that it worked out like that too. And just like explain to me like that too, like what was that kind of like 4 days notice? Because I'm sure did that like benefit you in a way because you didn't have like all this time to kind of like overanalyze things.
Yeah, I think it did. You know, it definitely always helps a little bit. I think when you get a full camp, you know who you're fighting. But sometimes you get in your head a little bit when you have those full camps. You have more time to think about it. When it's 4 days notice, it's like, all right, I'm fighting in 4 days. You don't really have time to process it. It's you get the call, you do your medicals the next day, you get the weight down, and then you're fighting a couple days later. So it was definitely a cool experience. That was the first time I've taken a fight on short notice like that. I was actually sitting down for dinner, big burrito in front of me with my girlfriend's family, and Tyson's calling me, my manager, and answered the phone. He told me the news. I was like, "Well, you guys can have that. I'm gonna go wait, and I'm fighting in Philly Thursday night." So
Yeah.
it caught everyone off guard, but I didn't. It didn't like catch me off guard. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. Was this call? I knew it was a possibility. That's what I wanted to happen. So I'm grateful for it, man. I'm super grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. You put the phone down, threw the breeder behind you, and went for a run. I'm sure, but like
Yeah.
like with that too though, like what was the weight cut like? Like have you ever had to cut that like that much weight in a short amount of time? Like how much weight did you actually have to cut?
It wasn't bad. I was like 160, 162. And they agreed to a catch weight 150.
Okay.
I kind of overdid it a little bit. You know, I got the call. I've been wrestling my whole life, so I'm used to making weight twice a
Yeah.
week, every week, and I'd cut a little too much weight in wrestling, but we kind of do it an unhealthy way in wrestling. So that part of me kind of crept in. I was like, oh, you got to make weight in a couple of days, and I lost a little too much that night. I think I got
Yeah.
down to like 56, 55 almost that night, and then
Wow.
had a good dinner, and I think I showed up by the time we got to the hotel the day before weigh-ins. I think I was sitting at like 55, and um I woke up at like 53 in the morning of weigh-ins. I ended up weighing at 48 and a half. A
Oh
little
wow.
lighter than I like to weigh in. But it felt good, man. I didn't feel too crappy, you know what I mean? I was hydrated. Like you said, it was short notice, so you're not really cutting weight for too long.
Yeah. Like you say, obviously, like maybe you like took it a little too far, but like another way of looking at it too, I think that was like, I mean, that's gotta be good to know that on short notice too, you might even be able to like maybe hit that 145 mark. Say like a bigger opportunity comes with a
Yeah,
bigger promotion and things like that.
100%. And that was kind of the first thing I said. I got out of at a weigh-ins and got in the car. I was like, I think I probably could have made 45, but we did it at 50 just to play it safe. You never know.
Yeah, for sure.
First pro fight. There's no need to force it down to 45 if we don't have to. My opponent's team, when we got the call, they were like, meet us at 48. It's like, well, we might as well do 45 at that point. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I ended up weighing right almost at 48. So I gave them what they wanted, I guess. But
Yeah, they're probably like, what the heck? Why didn't he just
yeah,
Yeah, that's funny. But
I
let's
think
talk a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
looked I think 140 when they announced that, like fighting at 148 pounds. I think the crowd would have been like, why are they just fighting at 45? It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's funny. But I'm sure no one was bugging you too much if any of them knew that 4 days notice. I'm sure they probably got it or something like that.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the fight too, because obviously it was a very dominant performance by you, and I'm sure you expected the win going in there. But did you expect it to be that dominant?
Yeah, 100%. I'm training with two of the best dudes in the world on a daily basis, and I was Calvin Cater's main sparring partner for that Max Holloway camp. So I'm used to that high level push, and when we're sparring, man, we're sparring. So, at this point, it's there's no one they're gonna put in front of me that I'm gonna be like afraid of, in a sense. But I knew he was a tough wrestler, strong kid, man. He was strong as a bull. He got in on one shot on me. I could really feel that strength, but I was able to get him off. But I think the big thing I do in there is I just stay patient. I'm calm. I don't feel, I don't let the moment get to me. I'm doing this sport to be in those big moment opportunities. So I'm in there. That was the one thing Rob said to me. He's like, I love how calm you fight. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm able to kind of pick these guys apart. We got 5-minute rounds in there now. So I love it. I get that whole first minute to kind of just get my feints going, my level changes, and get you reacting a bit, and then I can start putting it on you. And once I see you biting on the feints and kind of falling into my game, I know I'm going to pick them apart. I said all week, I told everyone, I said all my friends, my family, my team, I was saying, I'm going to need this kid in the head this week. I know I'm going to need him in the head. And it's funny, my team, they kind of, Calvin and Rob, be like, it's a lot harder when you're in there to call your shot. You're like, don't be upset if you just kind of wrestle or you don't do what you think you're gonna do. And I was like, all right, man, but like I'm telling you, I'm gonna knee him in the head. And I went in there and did it. I ended up putting him down with that knee. And I pointed at Calvin in the crowd after and pointed at my knee. I was like, I told you, man.
Yeah. Obviously, I'll never experience about. I'm sure there's a certain feeling you get when you knock a guy out or you get a submission. But what is the feeling when you kind of see like that towel like kind of thrown to the mat like that?
Man, it was funny. I didn't even see the towel get thrown. When I was in there, it kind of landed on my foot actually.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel it hit me. I didn't see it. I heard the corner yell ref, and then I heard the bell ring. So I put my hand up. I was like, I think it's over. I wasn't sure if the round was over. And Rob came in all pumped. I was like, did I just win? I had to ask him. I was like, did I win? He's like, yeah, you won. I was like, oh, cool. Like, I was ready to keep going, man. When I'm in there, I don't want it to end. I love fighting, man. Once I'm in my groove and feeling like I did that night, I was like, I just want to keep going. I do this all night.
Yeah. So like you kind of like I remember watching like you kind of like put your hand up, I think. So like you thought you just like won the round or something.
I
You're
was
like,
I think I won the fight. I wasn't
yeah.
like they said ref. I think they're stopping. I like looked up at them and I kind of standing there. I was like a little confused. Let me ask before I get excited here.
Yeah. Yeah, because I rewatched it too, and like you can kind of hear like Sean, like he says something to his corner, and then very shortly after that, they did. But like I don't think I think he was probably telling them not to stop because just based on his reaction after the fact, he seemed like he was kind of a little mad at his corner.
Yeah, man, he's a tough kid. He was a tough kid. I couldn't really hear what he was saying. I could hear them telling him like, "Show us something, man. Like you got to show us something." I was a little surprised how long the ref let it go. I thought there was a few times it could have been stopped, but man, I'm gonna keep hitting him until that ref stops. Like Derek Lewis said in his last fight, man, that's Herb Dean's fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those extra shots, man, that's on the ref. My job's to go in there and not stop until they tell me I'm stopping.
Yeah.
I definitely think that he took a little too much unnecessary damage after that knee. I think it could have been stopped shortly after that.
Yeah, and I'm sure like you guys can understand that too, because I know Tyson's been pretty vocal about being very careful about Cater, especially with his fight with Max and things like that. So I'm sure you guys were like very understandable of that.
Oh, 100%. There's no shame in that call for that corner. I think they did the right thing. And I think now Sean's probably knows they did the right thing. It's tough in the moment, any fighter doesn't want that fight to get stopped. We want to go out on our shield. And he's a tough kid, I could hear the ref yelling at him, like, you got to move, give me something, give me something. And every time he's about to stop it, he would move just a tiny bit, not enough to, like, I wouldn't call it
Yeah.
intelligent defense, you know what I mean? He's covering up. I'm like, come on, ref, like, he's not doing much here. But it is what it is, man. Tough kid. He took it. Most people would have been out after that knee. He kept fighting, so props to him.
Yeah, well, like you said too, like when the ref was saying that he could have not done anything, he was moving that little bit to show like, hey, I'm still here at least,
Yeah.
he's still willing to take the punishment, I guess. But like you said too, I mean, no sense of taking that punishment, especially both you guys were making your pro debuts too. There's a lot of career left, so I
Yep.
totally get that as well. But yeah, and then like you kind of like mentioned this a little earlier too about like who you train with, things like that. But I mean, your corner alone in this fight. I mean, Rob Font, Calvin Kattar, and then Tyson too. I mean, not a lot of guys have a corner like that too. So, like, what's it like? I knowing you have those guys, in your corner, behind you when you are making that walk and you are in that cage.
Yeah, it's a privilege, man. They're like family to me. We're one small family. We got a small team. That's really our team right there. We have a few other coaches. Our other teammate Nick Fiore, he's looking to get back in there soon. He's a stud, but we're a small team, man, so we're real close. For those guys to drop everything on 4 days' notice to drive out to Philly with me and be there for me, especially when Rob, we knew he had a fight, so he's out
Mm-hmm.
there with me. But it's cool that Tyson's like, yeah, this, like he says, like, that plays a role in your opponent. They see you come to the cage with these guys in your corner, but I always tell him, man, I'm responsible for my own success. You know what I mean? I can have that all-star corner, I can have the all-star teammates, but at the end of the day, it's me in there, and it's me and him. So I'm responsible for my own success. He had Sean Brady, who's a up and comer in the
Mm-hmm.
UFC 14 in his corner, but you can't let that stuff get to you, man, because at the end of the day, it's me and you fighting, not our corners. So it definitely helps. I listen to them real well. I can trust them. They tell me to do something, I go, man. Like they tell you jump, you jump. They were calling those head kicks as soon as they were calling them. I was throwing them. I think it's important to have a corner you can trust. But in the end of the day, it's just me and him in there, so it's on me to do my job.
Yeah. You touched on something good there too, because like we were talking about your corner, but like you said, Sean Brady, like I think they even mentioned in the commentary, but there was a lot of talent as far as just the cornermen and things like that. A lot of UFC guys, a lot of famed coaches. It's kind of you don't always see that in these kind of like regional shows.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was a good look for Cage sure for sure. You know what I mean? Good look for both me and Sean. I think it gives the fight a little bit more excitement when you see that. So okay, these two dudes are both coming from a tough gym. Neither of us are going to be a slouch. We have the experience around us, and then it's on us to go in there and perform and show whose gym's doing a little better, whose gym is doing something a little different. And that's what it comes down to, man. Who's going to do something a little different in there? And I think that's what we did.
Yeah, yeah, I think CFFC has done a good job too with this because not all the regional promotions are going now. So you're kind of seeing them get some guys that maybe normally would not be on their cards, and they're kind of fighting for them too, which is kind of cool. And just going off of that too, for you, like, do you see yourself returning to CFFC down the road, or maybe next fight?
Yeah, 100%. I know they did offer like a multi-fight deal after.
Okay.
That's out of my control. I let the manager, the coaches handle that. But I'd say it's a good chance I'm gonna be back in that cage fury cage pretty soon. Pretty
Yeah.
soon. Couple
Yeah.
little injuries from the fight I gotta let heal up. Hands a little banged up. Nothing major, but other than that, man, I'm good to go. So hopefully by like early June, maybe. Rob's got his fight in May, so we're focused on him right now, getting him ready for that. But I want to be surprised soon after that to be back in there.
Yeah. Well, I know they just announced cards in April, so it seems like CFC has been pretty consistent with maybe just like a month, 2 months off, that kind of thing. So it seems like they've been pretty consistent. So I'm sure you could find something like that when you're looking at. Um, yeah, I mean that was pretty much going to be my next question about when you're willing. But like, what was the experience like too? Because like you said, you mentioned Sean Brady's name. He's obviously the guy that came out of that promotion. A lot of guys have come out of that promotion too. So like, when you actually did this on 4 days notice, like, did you know of CFFC? Like, did you know that they were kind of like a pretty like up and coming, not even up and coming, but pretty established regional promotion at this point?
Yeah, 100%. They're the number one regional promotion outside the UFC. They're the UFC's biggest feeder program, and It's funny. I remember like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, saying my friend actually mentioned it to me because he remembers I was watching some kind of Cage Fury highlight film, and I was like, man, I'm gonna fight for them someday, like soon. Like I really want to get on one of those cards. Like that's a good show. You know what I mean? UFC Fight Pass. The whole world can watch. It's a good look. It's like Rob was telling me. It's kind of what it's like. You know what I mean? It's not too much different. Just bigger crowd. So yeah, man, I was pumped to get the call to be fighting for them. I definitely knew about them. It definitely made that moment a little more special, being on that big stage, being on the main card. It's gonna be a little weird to go back to a show around here, like a local show. You know what I mean? Now that I've got a little taste of that bigger promotion. And I think I any opportunity like that I'm gonna take, man. Anytime I can show my skills on a big stage like that, UFC Fight Pass, the whole world watching, I'm gonna take that any day.
Yeah, you talk about like the stage and things like that, but I just like look at your record. It seems like you mostly only have fought like around that like New England area too. So what do you take away from the fact that this kind of was like a road trip? You know, you had to drive down there on short notice. You had to get the weight down, that kind of thing. Like what, like when all is said and done, you're able to do it. Like what did you take away from? I guess maybe just kind of just accomplishing everything that kind of went into it.
Yeah, fighters fight, man. That's what I tell myself. Regardless of where we're gonna be, I crave doing that kind of stuff. I wanted that, even when I was an amateur, I was trying to like find somewhere to go fight, maybe New York or something. I want to
Mm,
get out. I don't want to be like this hometown hero type of guy, only fighting on his regional shows and being content with that. I wanna get out there and go be in enemy territory. I did it in Maine a few times. You know what I mean? Fight everyone I fought in Maine. I was in their hometown getting booed. So that was nothing new to me there. This kid sold out the whole place. It was all Sean Stefanelli
yeah,
shirts. They're booing me, and kind of just looked at my corner. I looked at Calvin. I winked at him like, "We've been here." They know
yeah.
I live for that, man. I love that. It makes me want to perform even better. It got quiet in there real fast. So yeah, taking on 4 days notice all the way in Philly, it's definitely a cool experience. And I told myself, man, this is what the UFC wants. They want these guys who are willing to fight when they get that call. They don't question it. They show up, they make weight, and not just show up to fight, but show up to win and put on a performance. I told myself if I can take this fight on 4 days notice, not just win, but make a statement, then that's a good start. And that's what I went in there and did, and what I wanted to do.